it is a given that their first offer is always going to be low. Because if you think about it, why else would they be always offering gifting or commission first? Because it is the lowest risk for the brand. Hey guys, welcome back to another episode. So today we're going to talk about negotiation through this really fun story from this micro influencer who's in one of my programs, because this is what I know to be true. Among everything that you need to learn on the business side of brand deals, being an influencer and creator, negotiation is the most intimidating part of the process. I know this is what scares a lot of creators and influencers and why they think, okay, I can just outsource this to someone who's better at negotiating than me. So if you're at a point in your career where you want to make more money per brand deal than you've ever had this year because you're so stinking tired of like $100, $200, $300 from these brands, or even just brands lowballing you in general, this episode will not only be inspiring, but also give you a fresh perspective on how you can unblock your mindset around negotiating and really let go of that fear. Because it can actually be really exciting and fun once you get a hang of how the process works. Because this creator felt the exact same way. She was frustrated and she was just over all of the lowball offers that she's getting. And yet she secured her first 5-figure UGC deal 2 weeks into working with me as her coach and mentor. And to be honest, you guys, she actually considered hiring a management agency instead. So many of you guys may relate to this creator, and I'll give you some context as to where she was. She was securing some brand deals here and there with pretty decent rates, but because she is a home decor creator, she also has a 9 to 5. Negotiating with brands felt like pulling teeth for her in getting brands to understand how her videos aren't the same as just pressing record. It's not the same as someone just jumping on camera and dancing in front of it or talking about a product. There's a whole entire process. And one of the biggest reasons why her content does so well is because there's really two concepts at play when she's putting these videos together. So there's the concept of interior design and getting everything set up and planning for how, the end product is going to look like, picking out material, picking out color schemes, picking out design and aesthetic. But also in that same wavelength, the second part of that concept is the video production. How is it going to look like on camera? What is going to be the end result when it goes on social media, when it goes into the end product? Is it going to be in a series of few different videos? Is it going to be in a trend? Things like that. And so when it comes to her production, there's a lot of hours and a lot of resources that she has to use in order for her to get to the end product, which speaks to her results as well, because she is very particular on the interior design, the set design, and just how everything is going to be put together with, let's say, a living room or a bedroom or things like that. Her videos are able to perform well organically to where she knows exactly what to do in order for her to go viral. But at this point, she was getting her foot in the door with some great brands. It was a lot of big brands that she is building relationships with. But as soon as she sends over her pricing, she gets crickets. Like, it would drive her insane, you guys, when she would notice that these brands, the same brands that would reach out to her, would end up working with bigger creators who no doubt would have higher rates than she does. And so she's always left to wonder, like, what am I doing wrong? I'm sending these rates and brands are ghosting me. They're not responding back, or they're saying no, or they're lowballing me. And so she either had to settle for crappy rates in exchange for tons of work in order to keep the relationship, or accept gifting or affiliate commission just to get her foot in the door. Either way, she was losing. And obviously, she had very limited time to create content with a 9 to 5, and it was, a very busy 9 to 5. So she also considered hiring a manager. And when she hit that 100K follower mark, an agency actually found her, and she was considering going with an agency because the one that she found, their whole ethos is to amplify, Black creators, help them make more money, things like that. Really aligned with what she was looking for in an agency. For her, she did just hit 100K followers, which obviously helps open more opportunities for her because she's on a different level or a different tier of creators. And without a doubt, her creator business financially is at a point where she can 100% outsource to a manager. However, when we were having this conversation in DM, she was telling me that she was uncomfortable giving up 20% of her earnings because it would be a huge investment for her to give up, because she already knows what to do and keep 100% of the money, where she would much rather invest. Let's say if she were to give up that 20%, she would much rather invest that 20% back into funding the rest of her home decor projects. And at the time when we were having this conversation, she was really at a crossroads of like, I don't have time to go back and forth with all of these brands because it's so frustrating and I'm getting really annoyed. I just want them to get to the answer of yes or no and not have to settle every single time. And so, with that 9 to 5 and all the time that she has to spend creating every single video, which she is very particular and very intricate about, she had to choose her hard, right? And so, for her, she was like, okay, before I consider going with a manager, I want to give it one more shot. I want to see what else I can refine from the skills that I have, from the strategy that I have on how to make these negotiation conversations much easier. And so, why did she choose to hire a coach instead of a manager? She knew she was more than capable of securing the deal, right? But the dilemma for her was that it took a really long time to get to the results that she wanted. And for the most part, she wasn't getting to the results that she was looking for. It felt like pulling teeth to go back and forth, and it would take a really long time. It would just end up her settling for a lower contract. And so she was like, okay, let me give it one more shot. Let me see what else I can refine before I have to do the absolute most and essentially live off of the 80%. So she made that decision. She decided to hire me as her coach. And immediately she had an email conversation with a brand that she brought up to me. So this $81 million brand that she's worked with twice before for UGC reached out to create 10 more UGC videos because of how well the last UGC videos performed on their socials. They didn't even run ads on it, and organically it's been able to generate a lot of awareness and conversion for the brand. And to set this up, their old offer was $1,500 for 2 UGC videos, and those 2 UGC videos are now the top 2 performing videos on this brand's social media. So off the bat, you know that this brand is 100% confident that she will deliver that same kind of quality and those same kind of results. And so to them, they're like, okay, we're going to predict this is going to perform well, so we want to work with her again. So they offered her $5,000 for 10 UGC videos with perpetual usage, which is, like when you hear perpetual usage, you're like, run away, run the other direction. And she came to me extremely frustrated and feeling already defeated because she was feeling undervalued by a brand that she's been able to produce really quality and really good results for. And this initial offer was even less than the $1,500 for the 2 UGC videos. So this is now at $500 per UGC video versus the $750. So off the bat, when she sent this to me, she immediately felt like the back and forth negotiation was going to be a waste of time and that she was going to have to fold or settle for less, or basically just accept it for what it was. And this is what she said to me in her own words. She came to me saying, am I being a brat for thinking that this offer is trash? I could use the money, but how much longer must I accept this when these makeovers are so much work, especially with a full-time job? I'm exhausted. And I know a lot of you guys feel this exact same way. And why I think a lot of you guys feel that, hiring a manager will be a quick fix, a quick solution. Like, Naomi, just make it someone else's problem to solve. But you guys have to understand that most brand deal offers always start off this way. And you have to look at it as an opportunity to maximize the deal as opposed to, oh, another brand lowballing me. Because newsflash, this is every brand influencer partnerships manager's job to do. And what are they doing? They are there to get the most for the least amount of payment. They are there to bargain. They're there to maximize the budget that they have available. So, like, let us get the most reach, the most creators, the more touch points for, the amount of budget that we have available. So like for example, instead of hiring one creator for this entire budget, let's hire 100. And so how can we maximize that? They're also there for risk management. They're there to make sure that the money that they're spending has the least amount of risk possible. And so they're there to make sure that okay, we are hiring the right creator for the right price and there's as little amount of risk as possible because they know that marketing can be expensive and the ROI can be unpredictable at times. And so, knowing that information, it is a given that their first offer is always going to be low. Because if you think about it, why else would they be always offering gifting or commission first? Because it is the lowest risk for the brand. And if they can get as many creators to say yes to a gift or commission or things like that, then they can conserve the marketing budget that they have as best as possible and pay the creators that they know are going to convert and the creators that they know for sure are well aligned with the goals that they're looking for and that are going to give them the results that they're looking for as far as conversion, awareness, things like that. And so on the other side of the coin, what is your job in the negotiation process? And knowing this information that the influencer partnerships manager's job is to get a bargain and take as small of a risk as possible. Your job as a creator, as the one who's negotiating, is to get the most for the least amount of work. And get this, the brand's job, get the most for the least amount of payment. And then your job is to get the most for the least amount of work. It's also your job to make sure that the value of the service matches the value of the compensation. Like it's like a tipping scale. So your job is to make sure to evaluate okay, like the scales are completely imbalanced. Let's kind of raise it up so that it's somewhat equal, right? So, something that's really important that I teach creators inside my training and coaching programs when negotiating is learning the mindset behind posture. And if you guys are new to hearing about my signature posture framework, the posture framework is basically designed to help creators and influencers position themselves as an invaluable asset to their dream brand so that they can secure high paying deals with ease and confidence. And it stands on four pillars: brand visibility, value, communication, and relationships. And they all kind of work together to put you in a position of authority as like you are the only creator that this brand needs to work with and nobody else. And so communication, which is the negotiation pillar, beyond just staying in control of the entire negotiation process and positioning yourself to be the party in demand, when you're collaborating with a brand, the approach has to be collaborative. And what do I mean by that? So, when you're letting a brand know that their offer is low and you're about to hit them with a high number that might give them sticker shock, your delivery or the way that you respond back or the way you quote a brand will make or break a deal. Because unless you know the brand's cadence, whether you've worked with them before or you know someone who's worked with them before, you've read reviews about them, or you know what kind of brand they are, if they're a big brand that always spends a lot of money on influencers, or you know exactly what their budget is, you don't necessarily know if they're going to get sticker shock, maybe have some objections to your rates. So when you don't know what the outcome is going to be when you quote them a high number, you have to set up the conversation to prepare the brand to understand the value of what they're looking for and what that investment will look like. So instead of saying, hey, brand, this is too low, my rate for this is X amount of dollars, take it or leave it, I helped her reframe the response with questions. Because I don't know if you know this, if you are remotely familiar with sales, the person who is asking the most questions is the party who is buying and who is the party in control. So asking questions like, hey, is there room to negotiate on the price because this is too low for me? Are you able to reduce the usage down from perpetual usage to 12 months? I don't want to quote you a ridiculous amount that puts us out of budget. So when you're putting it like that and you're pre-handling the objection, it puts the brand who is reading this kind of at ease because now they're going to be thinking, oh, this creator is mindful of my budget. So let me just be a little bit more direct. And the brand knows that you also have their best interests business wise, not just because, oh, I want to collaborate with you and this is just going to be a transaction. And by just making that quick language shift, and also by explaining why we ask those questions in order to pre-handle the objections, the brand easily came back and said that there was room for negotiation. And this creator was shocked because this was something that they've never offered her the last two times that she's worked with them. So immediately she was surprised, and that feeling of frustration and defeat quickly turned into excitement and hope. So before she even gave them a number or a counter offer, she asked the brand first if they can extend the term from 3 months to 4 months because of the time constraints. It takes quite some time to produce all of the content. So, like, 10 video projects is going to be a lot for her on top of her 9 to 5. And the brand comes back reducing the scope from 10 videos to 6 videos and offered $10,000 with 12 months of usage. Now, this is still extremely low for what they're looking for because this is still about $20,000 as far as value for her if she did all the calculations. But when she and I were walking through the entire negotiation process together, we both agreed that the brand is probably not going to offer her $20,000 because their second offer was 10K, and to jump from 10K to 20K would be a really huge gap, and it would be very unreasonable. And so at this point she was at another crossroads, and she was like, Naomi, this is going to be my very first 5-figure offer, and I'm really, really excited about this, that they are even offering me this. But I also don't want to be so hungry for money, but also don't want to be devaluing myself because the value of this is way more than 10K, and you know it. And usually this is where a lot of creators make the mistake of, okay, this is 10K, it's high enough, I'll take it. But not in my world. So as a coach, and I do this for my management clients as well, in order for me to satisfy both sides of her crossroads and contemplation, I presented her with 2 offers that she can potentially counter offer back to the brand. At this point, I didn't know how she was going to react. I told her, okay, you have 2 options. The first one, you can say, hey, I can accept the 10K, but we have to reduce the deliverables from 6 videos to 4 videos. Or she can counter offer $13,000 for the 6, which obviously is heavily discounted. And I wasn't sure if she was going to be okay with this option, but it wouldn't be too much of a stretch for the brand to, increase it by $3,000 versus increasing it by another $10,000 to match the actual value, which was $20,000, which is like double the second offer. So it felt like it was a safe option to where she's getting paid more. And so she was good with both options. We crafted the reply, and this way, by sending these 2 options, we'll really know what the brand wants more. Do they want more videos or saving money and paying the least amount? And you guys, as a result, the brand, with no hesitations, went with option 2. And she got a $13,000 deal. And that was her first 5-figure deal. It was 260% more money than the original offer and 40% less work. And you guys, this creator, one, has never secured a 5-figure deal in her entire career as a content creator. Number 2, she didn't need to give up 20% of that money to a manager if she went the agency route. If you do the calculations, let's say it's 20%, that's about $2,600 that she would be paying to a manager. And number 3, she has never had a negotiation as effortless and easy as this. Just because she had the right support in her back pocket, helping her refine her responses, helping her reframe her mindset around asking for more money and being more comfortable, more confident about it, and helping her get out of her own way by confirming what's fair, what's unfair, and how to communicate that to a brand. So she can now build more confidence in her craft and what she has to offer to a brand, and being able to replicate those results over and over by using that same technique. Literally, you guys, all I'm helping her with is the mindset and making small tweaks to her strategy. And it's making a world of a difference already. Because if you guys paid attention to how she was reacting to the emails from the brand, she was immediately disqualifying herself and talking herself out of asking for more money, even though she was frustrated that the brand wasn't offering enough. And the best part of that was she got her investment back from my Brand Deal Accelerator program. She was uncomfortable in making that decision, but she made almost 4 times the ROI in 2 weeks. And today, it's her second month of my program, and also her second 5-figure month and absolutely killing it. I'm so proud of her. And look, I get it, you guys. I hear it all the time from you in my DMs. Naomi, I have brands reaching out, but once I send my rates, they say no thanks, they ghost me, I hear crickets. I feel like I have to accept the crappy rates or I won't have any deals at all. I'm clearly doing something wrong, but I have no idea what it is or what I'm doing or how to even fix it. And I know y'all are getting frustrated with all these lowball offers, and I don't blame you. Negotiating with brands can be one of the trickiest and most intimidating parts of growing your business and your income in brand deals. And it feels like, sometimes brands hold all the cards when it comes to negotiations, but I promise you that you have way more power than you think you do. You just don't know how to use it and communicate it effectively yet. And for me, truly, negotiation is an art that takes education, implementation, and lots of practice. So, if you're an influencer and creator and you're just as sick and tired of brands lowballing you or offering crumbs, offering pennies, and you feel like negotiating with a brand feels like pulling teeth for you right now, where the brand isn't seeing why they need to pay you more money, sometimes you're at a crossroads where getting some money is better than getting no money, but you deserve to get paid way more. Maybe your goal this year was to become a full time content creator or even hit 5-figure months in brand deals, and you're not even close to hitting that goal. We are accepting applications for all of our coaching and mentorship programs, which I've linked in this episode, or DM me the word accelerate on Instagram to figure out which option or which solution or which program is the best for you. We need to have a serious conversation because you may be losing money by the day.